Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. You're on www.Ramadan FM at 87.7. We are in the studio on Evington Road, and our studio number for today is 0116 4822086, and our WhatsApp message is 0774 885 5055. You're in the studio with your host, Amrin Razak. This is my first show, alhamdulillah, during Ramadan. I pray and I hope everyone is well and having and reaping the rewards of these last 10 days, inshallah. So today we are in the studio on our show, which is The Artist's Way, and I'm here with two great creatives, mashallah, and in their own right have their own niches. So I can't wait to delve in to what we're going to be talking about today. So before I introduce them, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what today's show is actually about. So we're going to be talking about mental health and the importance of having creative spaces and be able to work in a space which is working for Muslim women and our Muslim community in Leicester. We'll be talking about the journeys that they've had to reach here, and then also talking about their current projects and what they hope for the future, inshallah. So hopefully the 45 minutes we'll be able to go through that. How are you both? Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. I'm good, thank you.
Alhamdulillah. So I'm in the studio with Zainab Hussain, who's a mindset coach of becoming coaching, and then I'm here in the studio with Shazia Osman, who you all will probably know. How are you today this afternoon?
I'm good, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, okay. So I'm just going to go through their biography so you get to know, mashallah, the work that they both have been doing to date. So Shazia, mashallah, has been influenced by her British and African roots and is an award-winning artist. Shazia Osman takes inspiration from the heritage of fine Islamic arts and modern contemporary expression. Her work encapsulates themes of spirituality, depth and emotion, and she uses her skills as a calligrapher to study and reimagine sacred manuscripts. Her specialism is in the Maghribi Andalusi script of Morocco, in tangent with the Maghribi illumination art. Her passion lies in bringing peace to the viewer and a deeper sense of connection with the divine. It is in the ethos which has led her to branch out into curation of project management, engaging communities, and is a big part of her practice. In addition to painting her own original work, she facilitates creative mindfulness workshops for members of her community, and as a certified art therapy practitioner, the bringing together of art, spirituality, and offers a different dimension to inner healing. Her first project, it was In Praise, which was received with much admiration and ignited an awareness of Islamic art in Leicester. She is now working on her second project, mashallah, which is Illuminate, and hopes to exhibit the works towards the end of this year. And her socials are Rashida Art at one, and her website is Parables of Light, inshallah. So her sentence that describes her is, she's a fine artist and calligrapher, and she specializes in the Maghribi Andalusi script, mashallah, and she does it with great passion. And mashallah, we're honored also in the studio today with Zainab Hussain, mashallah, who is a 24-year-old mindset coach. She runs her own coaching practice in Leicester, and she's dedicated to bringing research from her master's degree in positive psychology and coaching psychology to the creative spaces. She specializes in supporting creatives to unlock their potential and embraces authenticity to thrive in their talent. And her social handles are become mindset. And her mantra, how she describes herself, is empowering individuals to become their most authentic selves, mashallah. So we are truly, truly honored here today. So inshallah, let's get started. So firstly, let's go with you, Zainab. So tell us, when did you know you wanted to be a Muslim creative and kind of align it with your psychology, qualification?
Yeah, I think the aligning it with the psychology came in the last few years. Growing up, I was always very creative. I think I had a chance to be able to explore different mediums of creativity because my parents were very supportive of that. So through art, through poetry, through lots of different avenues. Yeah. So I always knew that was an interest and a hobby of mine. But I also felt like you don't see that in a lot of spaces, and there's a lot that can add value to. And then a few years ago, I was going through a period in my life that was difficult, and I felt very stuck. I was very, very anxious, and I sort of had all these goals and things that I wanted to do with my life, and I had so much passion, but I was very, very stuck, and I was overwhelmed with that anxiety. So at that time, that's when I started to explore lots of avenues around coaching, around therapy, around well-being, and then I ended up starting my master's. And that's when I realized that actually, like, there are so many tools within the psychology space that can be used for creatives and can be used in a very creative way as well. So at the moment, I'm bridging the gap between the two. And also within positive psychology, there are already lots of creative ways to do things, and it's really, really interesting, really exciting, and it's not very known. I don't think so. Yeah,
that's brilliant. Jazakallah khair. So what about yourself, Shazia? So I know you've had, mashallah, a journey which has been very. I'd say there's been a lot that's been happening for you, mashallah, and now you teach it and you facilitate your workshops. So when did you kind of know that Islamic art and calligraphy in specifically was for you?
I actually just stumbled across it. In 2016, I'd actually gone back to college to study health professions, and I did an access to health profession course, and I was on set to become a midwife. But things happen differently. We plan in Allah plans, and that was the year that I lost my sister. She passed away, and it just threw me off completely. And I never took GCSE art or A-level art or any formal art background. I actually turned to art just as a form of therapy, and by finding healing through art, I realized that, this is really something I'm passionate about, something that I'm really enjoying. And then one thing just led to another. I did course after course. I enrolled. I have this deep love of learning.
Yeah, mashallah.
And I think it's detrimental to
can be sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult because I can get carried away with enrolling on this course and that course and the other. But I have this deep love of learning, and I kind of curated my own education. Yeah, you could say so. I've done some courses in Islamic geometric design. I've done some courses in surface pattern design. I've done some courses in Arabic calligraphy, Islamic illumination, and I'm still studying.
MashaAllah.
I think that learning is a lifelong journey, and there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's how I got into Islamic art. But the thing is that I found through Islamic art and facilitating workshops in the community, I found that it's filled this void in me where I just felt really empty. The healing that those art forms brought to me have really, they've helped me progress. They've helped me realize what my purpose is in life. And that's one thing that I'm really passionate about, helping others bring into their lives. I think creativity is amazing, and I think everybody should have an opportunity to be creative.
To have an outlet, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's so important, and that's so beautiful. It's similar to my story. I just want to touch on, and I think it's really important for our listeners to understand, and also people in our Muslim spaces, and maybe people who we'd like us to support in the future, and any creatives, is that sometimes you don't have to go to a course or have to necessarily do a qualification. Sometimes Allah creates these doors opening for you because he knows what we need in terms of our own healing. I was really bad at art, right? When I was younger, I used to think I was really bad. But until I started doing my own self-healing journey later in life, I realized that I love writing, and I actually love putting pen to paper. And that's now what I do now. I support other people to write and have writing therapy. But it was a different journey. Like you said, it's like, it doesn't, we don't go and plan it. Allah plans on what we're supposed, and through it, we find our own healing, as you say, and to find the void that we're seeking to fill. And I think it's really important because thing is, creativity is not actually taught in our traditions, well, not in this country, and I think that's really important to highlight. And especially when we're in our education system, it's not what it needs to be. But alhamdulillah, we've come to this point now, and I think it's really inspiring that people all need an outlet, especially for our mental health and well-being is so important. But I would say try different things. Like in terms of our Islamic law, there's not a lot that we cannot do. And I think that's what I really want to tap into today when we talk about our other projects that we're working in and that we're hoping to do. That there is no one size fits all. Know what you need and try it. Give it a go. Like, you just don't know. And it's not about how good you are. It's like, and that's what I love about your workshop, Shazia. Like, I've attended so many of your workshops, mashallah. And what happens is you just say, just go with it. Like, don't fight it. And that's what I love about the way you do your workshops.
It's all about the process, Amrin. It's about being intuitive to your own creative voice. Yeah. And obviously, you know, we come from a really rich creative heritage background. Islamic art is well known all across the world. If you look at Turkey, Morocco, Iran, you see the artwork in those places, in the architecture, you know, is unparalleled. Yeah. And these are the places we need to take inspiration from and kind of go back to our roots of creativity and rediscover that creative voice, which is very important. Yeah. As part of our faith as well. I mean, like, if you look at it from a spiritual perspective, the greatest artist is Allah Himself. You know, you cannot go and see a sunset or a sunrise without thinking, wow. Yeah, look at those colors. Being in awe and like the hairs on the back of your neck, you know, standing up, literally, like, so especially when we go and visit architecture, or, you know, we pick up a manuscript or something like that. But Brother Irfan had a show the other day, mashallah, and he was talking to the guest who's traveled, and he's got these manuscripts which are held in other countries, and he went traveling, and it was just beautiful, you know, and we just don't realize the rich heritage, you know, we have. And that's beautiful. Something that I think we want to make accessible to people in Leicester, and which is one of the reasons why I branched out into project management and curation. I felt that there's a real need for it in Leicester. There's a thirst for it as well, because people are having these conversations. There are these discussions happening. There is this sort of like yearning to learn, but there aren't enough opportunities to do so. There's obstacles, isn't there? And we're gonna really dig deep into that. So I want to talk about, you know, before to the places now you're both at, and I am as a writer. Just tell me, Zainab, what kind of obstacles have you found? Like, because you did your degree, then you've come back to Leicester. So just give me like a summary of like how your experience have been so far and some of the challenges you've faced, especially being a Muslim woman.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that led to this that I mentioned was the anxiety, feeling really anxious. And I think bridging or using both the psychology, and I use psychology and neuroscience in my methodology, with creative avenues, because I was in a place where, like I said, I was a creative, but when I was very stuck, and I had a lot of overthinking, I had a lot of rushing thoughts in my head, I found it really hard to almost like attach to my creative part of myself, because I was just looping, my mind was just looping things. And I remember my mum tried to get me to do a jigsaw. A jigsaw is like a really basic thing, right? And I hated it. I hated the whole experience because I was so stuck in my head. But then around that time I started drawing again. I started painting again, and that was completely different, because that allowed me to express some of my internal emotion outwardly. And I think that allowed me to slow my mind down a bit. It stopped me from looping some of the same thoughts. And I think one of the things that I really want to do is recognize that everybody is on their own journey, and everybody is different. So the things that would work for me might be very, very different for you and for somebody else. And it's recognizing that even creativity can be expressed so differently. And so one of the things I want to do that my struggles and my experiences taught me was that there's lots of ways we can do things, and there's lots of new ways that we can discover to do things differently as well. So I'd love to do more about that.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And I think, excuse me, it's really important for people to highlight. And I think from the work that I've done, I've noticed that people have either nuances, they have biases, but also they have a lot of trauma around their spirituality relationship with Allah, and the way it was taught to them, the way they received it when they were younger, what was nurtured, and then also what they received in the education system, but also what they received in the home, because Islamic art is not really taught, is it? It's not something that's our parents have brought over, so to speak. So I think that's something really important in terms of understanding why we're limiting ourselves, what the actual blockages are, and it's having those spaces to be able to do that in a way that's conducive to all its users, I guess, you know. Okay, so what kind of challenges have you faced, Shazia, in terms of how did you find that this was going to be it for you? And also the next part of the question, in terms of your own mental health and kind of spirituality you've touched upon already, how has that supported you to how you are today?
Yeah, so in terms of like difficulties and obstacles that I've faced throughout the time is obviously I'm mum to a son with special needs, so I find that really difficult in the sense that I have to cater to his needs first rather than my own, and work and shape my work life around him and his needs. That for me has been a little bit of struggle. Another thing that I found is that it's difficult to get to be taken seriously unless you've actually got some sort of a pedigree or like a certain
degree, or
a degree
or from a certain
qualification,
college or university.
So it's and that's one thing that I found really difficult, is like, although I have the same skills and the same skill set, if not more,
probably better
than degree educated professionals in the same field, because I don't have that piece of paper saying so, I'm not taken as seriously. I have found that it's difficult as a Muslim woman to have your voice heard, and you have to knock on doors that much harder. You have to push those glass ceilings that much harder, because it's that much higher for us. It's much more difficult for us to achieve as well. The thing is that also there's these biases. I don't know whether I wouldn't say that everyone is biased. I would say majority of people have biases against Muslim women in hijab. And there's some sort of stereotypical expectations. People don't expect you to be a creative. They don't expect you to be someone who's professional in their field and doing really well at that.
Or also when it comes to negotiating and asking your price, that's something I've certainly found. Especially if you're running a series of workshops, it's just not there. So hence why, like you say, the obstacles come, and then you have to travel quite far as well. You have to travel out of the city maybe, which is something when we've all got commitments, like you've just said, and we've all got commitments and our circumstances, and then that adds another challenge on top of trying to do our passion, which is living our purpose in line with Allah. I
think there's something there's obviously inequality over there, and in the city that we live in, obviously there is. You can see all other type of art forms being exhibited, being represented, getting exposure. But when it comes to Islamic art and things, it's that much harder to get your foot in the door.
No, it is.
You have to keep on banging. But the thing is that it's very important to do this groundwork so that the future generations don't have to do it.
Yeah.
So it's all laid up for them. And
This is it.
That's one of my main focuses is to create a better, more creative world for our future generations.
Yeah.
For them, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's beautiful, because I wanted to come to that anyway. And mashallah, you said it, is all the work that we're all doing in our way. Yes, it gives us our purpose and our passions, and it keeps us focused and keeping us aligned with our traditions, but also ultimately our maker who allows it and facilitates it to happen, right? But at the same time, we're also doing it as our own legacy. So we want to create those spaces for the future generation, as you just said, Shazia. But also it's hopefully it weighs heavily on our scales, because we're hoping that with all the work that we do is bringing people back to their truer essence of themselves, to their natural fitra, and we're all doing it in our own ways, and I think that's beautiful. And I think people shouldn't downgrade or be think that what you do in your creative field is not a lot. We all play a part in it somehow, so just never give up, mashallah. So that's really beautiful. So I guess we've spoke about mental health, and we've talked about the resilience and the challenges we've faced. We've talked about how it is to be a Muslimah creative in our fields. Let's talk about some of the projects that we're working on. So Shazia, let's talk about Takhliq first, Takhliq Leicester. If you can just give her a synopsis of what Takhliq Leicester is, inshallah.
So Takhliq Leicester has come about quite organically, in the sense that based upon basically this need and this sort of thirst and this appetite for art by Muslim practitioners. So Takhliq is actually an arts and access forum. It's a space where people from a Muslim background who are creatives can all come together and collaborate and find out what opportunities there are for them in Leicester, and what can be offered to them. It's so far we're just a small group, and we're hoping to grow in number and in diversity as well. But if you're a creative from a Muslim background, it doesn't matter if you're a singer-songwriter, an artist, a poet, a writer. You could be doing anything that's creative. Takhliq Leicester is here to provide a safe space for you guys to come together, to discuss your needs, and to talk about what you would like to see happen in Leicester for Muslim creatives. We actually have a meetup on the 20th of April.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, and that meeting is going to be happening at LCB Depot, and it will be between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m.
2 till 4, yeah.
Yes. So if you've got the chance, come along. There is a link on Eventbrite to book a space. So if you are interested in coming along to the Takhliq Leicester meetup just to see what it's about, then you can go to our Instagram page. It's at Takhliq Leicester, TAKHLEEQ Leicester. And in the bio there is a link to Eventbrite. You can click that link to Eventbrite and book your ticket. It's a free ticket. Just come along and see what we have to offer, and see how you can get involved, and how it can benefit you as well. So yeah, that's about Takhliq.
Inshallah. And we're the whole idea is we're still in the early stages, so we're fact-finding, we're getting different backgrounds together. We're just researching in terms of what the needs are, and how we go about it then in the coming weeks on how to actually start funding and getting people involved, who needs to be at the table. We're at that stage right now, so any input you'd like to get involved in, inshallah, hopefully we will see you on the 20th. Okay, so then that next brings me on to Illuminate. Let's talk about Illuminate, inshallah. I'm just going to hold this if I can. Yeah, have we got it? Yes, so that's Illuminate. I mean, it's the other way around, but you get the idea. It's the project that's Sister Shazia is managing and coordinating, mashallah, which I'm really honored to be a part of as well. Alhamdulillah. So tell us a little bit about Illuminate.
So Illuminate is an Arts Council England funded project. It's an arts and culture project which focuses on anxiety and depression from an Islamic perspective. And for the first time ever, we are bringing together mental health, art and Islam, all three of them under one banner. And what the aim of the project is to explore mental health, explore depression and anxiety from an Islamic perspective, and co-create works in 4 different art forms. So we will be running workshops within the Muslim community, and most of them are completely booked up. There is spaces on a couple of our free workshops. These are free, completely funded. You don't have to pay a thing. Just come along, make some art, and have that art exhibited at the end of this year. We are doing this project in collaboration with the Lantern Initiative and Jamila's Legacy, which are two organizations in Leicester which are really well known for their work in mental health. The Lantern Initiative specializes in Muslim mental health, and Jamila's Legacy is a mental health organization and a charity which does a lot of amazing work throughout Leicester. So we will be having workshops in pottery, poetry, and calligraphy and geometry. We actually have 5 different workshops that are happening. This was like, I was overwhelmed by...
That's putting it lightly, subhanAllah.
Yeah,
mashallah.
alhamdulillah, I was
Allah
really
bless you.
overwhelmed by the response that we've got from the community, and I'm so grateful for the response that we've gotten, because it's evidence building again, saying that there is a need for this in our communities. There is a thirst for this.
100%. And this is why when I'm a real advocate for putting things on, but then people need to turn up to them.
Yes.
And this is, I think that is one of the obstacles I could say I face, because when we do put things up, people don't or can't, attend. So we try and do it as often, and I said we just keep trying. So just talking about Illuminate, so the poetry sessions are the only ones. So myself and Sharifa is the only ones who we've got some spaces left for our poetry sessions. So my ones are on the 25th of April and the 2nd of May, 11 till 2. And then we've got Sharifa, which you all know, Sharifa Energy of Leicester. She's doing a weekend retreat, which is on the 4th and the 5th of May, and that's 2 till 5. And remember, it's at the Oadby Community Centre, because you said there was a real need for it to be in the Oadby and Wixton area. Is that right?
Actually, Arts Council England have identified Oadby and Wixton as one of the priority places for arts engagement, which coincided with my own ethos, because I noticed that there was a need for it over there, having lived in Oadby for about 10 years. So I did notice that there's not enough creativity happening over here. Everything is mostly in the city. There is a community over here that's not been tapped into. They've not been given these opportunities. So let's bring the art to them if they're not going to come to the art.
This is it, exactly. So Shazia, can you just say the socials on how people can book for the rest of the Illuminate workshops that are available?
Yeah,
please?
so we have a website called www.parablesoflight.com, PARABLES of light, LIGHT.com, and there is a link on there for Eventbrite. You can book there. It will ask you for a £10 fee. That £10 fee is refundable. It's just there to make sure that you're committed and you're going to attend the workshops. The workshops are completely free, and once again, all the work that we're creating in these workshops is going to be exhibited towards the end of this year alongside my own works. So that's something really exciting that we're looking forward to happening.
Yeah, inshallah. I think that's so, I can't wait for that, inshallah. I just want to touch on the rest of the classes, which are amazing, alhamdulillah, they are fully booked, mashallah. And I'm not surprised because we've not had that in the Muslim space, right? Yeah. Normally when I've gone to those kind of workshops, I've gone out of Leicester, usually up north, Manchester or London, and then have to pay quite a bit for these workshops. So the fact that you've got it on your doorstep, make use of it, alhamdulillah. I do want to say that when it comes to some of the feedback I've had is people have some kind of trauma around writing. Or writing therapy. So the way myself and Sharifa work, we will work with you. We have our themes and it's all obviously aligned to the creation of Allah. My specific ones are looking through ayahs of the Quran, Hadith and Sufi poetry, and looking at the difference between the darkness and the light. Hence the project is Illuminate. So it's in times of when we've faced adversity, what has kept us going and where have we found the light and where has it come from. So I'll be looking at the isms of Allah, so looking at the 99 names of Allah, but I'll be working more in a mindfulness and writing therapy as well. Whereas Sharifa will be she'll be using photography, she'll be using different types of mediums for you to invoke your writing. And specific to within the theme as well, mashallah.
They're completely two different workshops. Yeah. So I mean, if you wanted to book on to both of them, that's go Absolutely. Ahead and do so. And it's an opportunity to learn from these amazing ladies. Amrin's expertise in this matter and Sharifa's expertise, they're unmatched. So we're really lucky to have creatives like Amrin and Sharifa as part of our collective and taking part in this project with us. So and obviously, I mean, I do get that some people have some trauma and it might be difficult for them to express themselves. Everything can be anonymous. Yeah. You do not have to put your name on any of the artwork. Yeah. And this is obviously a way for us to provide a safe space for you, and also a place where you can reflect and benefit from. Yeah. So I mean, there is no pressure over here about you putting your names on the artwork. I mean, being identified as a person. I mean, obviously, if you're really keen to put your name on the artwork and own it, by all means do so.
Alhamdulillah. Then that's beautiful, Yeah. Mashallah. And
there's no right and wrong way.
I was just going to say, because when people come to a writing or a poetry workshop, they think they have to be like, he has to be grammatically right and the commas. And I always say, no, it doesn't. When it comes to doing the exhibition of the work, we'll look at that and we'll work with you. And if you've got certain kind of maybe special needs or different levels or maybe autism or we can work with, Sharifa work with clients like that, so that's not a problem for us. So reach out to Shazia, go to the Illuminate page, contact us via our own social media if you've got any questions about it, and we're there to support you in that safe space, inshallah. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited and I'm really honoured to be part of this project as well, alhamdulillah. We've just had a message. I was just going to say, can we get some messages, inshallah, of people who've either worked with either of us in terms of the different creative work that we do. And we've just had a message, mashallah, saying, as an individual with both physical disability and mental health needs, I find art as a beautiful therapy to express myself. I've been part of projects with Sister Shazia through Jamila's legacy. It's actually through her that I found a new skill, being creative and somewhat artistic. Mashallah. Still a long way to go. We've all got a long way to go, alhamdulillah. But looking forward to the Illuminate project as I've signed up for the calligraphy workshop, which is what I've been wanting to do for a long time. And that's from Sister Aisha. Mashallah.
That's amazing.
And this is what it's about. And this is why, we're all passionate about bringing collaborating and coming together, because within it there's beauty. Like Allah has said, when we work together, we all come from a space of our niyyah, which is our intention, and is to do good, and is to bring people back to knowing themselves, right? Mashallah. So let's have a look at, so then the next part, so we've talking about Illuminate, talking about the clique. Talk to us a little bit about, I'm going to give you a break now. Let's go to Zainab. Zainab, what kind of projects have you been involved with, and what would you like to do in the future? What hope do you have?
Yeah, so one of the things we do is one-to-one coaching. So the thing that is slightly different that I'm trying to do is use more creative avenues through coaching. So as part of positive psychology, there was something that I came across in my course called meaningful photos. So it's I don't know if you've heard of it before, but it's a really, really good avenue. It enables you to understand what you seek meaning in your life and help you find purpose in your life. So you can either take about 5 to 10 photos, and then understand from those photos what is meaningful to you, or what do you believe about yourself. It's like a part of your journey of self-discovery. So I think exercises like that, interventions like that, allow you to uncover parts of yourself, to delve into the things that
you might have forgotten.
Yeah.
Because we do.
Exactly. And also understand your emotions, be able to process your emotions, and even things around trauma as well. Sometimes it's difficult to get to the point of talking. So there's lots of things that you can do that aren't just talking as well. And I liked as well that you're offering writing, because again, lots of people don't see themselves as a creative, but maybe they're a writer, or they do something else. They might not be an artist with a paintbrush, but there's lots of different things that you can do that is creative. Even if you think visually, again, like we do lots of things around visualization and just being able to tap into different parts of your mind and use that to the best of your ability. So some of the things that I want to do moving forward are more workshops with specialists in the creative areas. So for example, I'm collaborating at the moment with an actor. So we're hoping to do some productions together and just like short videos, that kind of thing. So being able to use that form of acting as a means of expression, but also work with actors. So again, we work with the creatives and look at their obstacles and help them in whether it's their career or their personal life, get to where they desire to be. So often people face things like creative blocks, struggling to not procrastinate, lack of
imposter
confidence,
syndrome,
self-doubt. So we support them a lot with the tools of psychology and neuroscience to enable them to be more free in their talent, to be able to tap into their talent even further. And again, it comes down to that idea in Islamic philosophy about fitra and being able to come back to your true self. Like the whole thing is about authenticity, and becoming the most authentic version of you.
Yeah, mashallah. I think that's beautiful, because I think for somebody who's, I don't like to use the age thing, but somebody who's graduated, mashallah, and still in your early stages, you are very clear about what you want to do. And I think that's really good, because if I knew at your age what I wanted to do, I probably wouldn't have wasted, I know I don't look it, but I probably wouldn't have wasted 20 years of my life doing other things. But alhamdulillah, Allah placed me as I was supposed to be at that given time. But I think and this is why, what you're doing from the point of view in your career is, you're paving the way. And I think that's really beautiful, because I think it's like you've said, we forget what our natural fitra is. We forget that we are creatives. So many people I've done writing therapy with and workshops with, they're like, I'm not a poet there. I was like, you don't need to be.
Exactly, yeah.
You can, you have a heart that has feelings and emotions, and just go with it. Don't resist what needs to flow from your heart. And that's what my work is about, is just coming back to yourself, and ultimately self-expression, and no hold bars. Just be true to yourself, and whatever will come, it'll be for the good, because we have hope. We have to have hope and resilience that what we're going through at any time is Allah is showing us different ways on how we can be, and that this is just a tide that will go. And I think with writing, for me, mine happened quite organically. So Shazia, the way you were saying that you didn't go to it automatically, same happened to me. So I'd gone through different types. So I've gone through different things in my life. About 15 years ago, I went through different types of therapy, but nothing was working at that time for me, because I know Allah wasn't ready for me to let go of that. But then I came to writing therapy, and as at school, I had quite a lot of trauma around my writing and my handwriting. So I went through writing therapy to break that trauma and that blockage. And then I started writing, and it just started flowing. And since then, I haven't stopped writing. So, and then I went backwards, and then I started doing, different writing therapies and different writing coaching and getting accredited for it, working with different writers, working with different collaborators, people who are specialists in this field, and then combining the psychology and Islamic sciences with poetry, which was amazing, I'm still at the beginning of my journey, but it kind of happened backwards for me as well.
But there's so many people that just don't know that they're creative.
Yeah.
Because we all have different parts of ourselves, and there's parts of ourselves that we just haven't had a chance to express. I was the same with writing. I was very resistant to both reading and writing. I think because I really struggled to concentrate. So I found it really hard to focus on that task. But then when I started journaling, I use that every day now. I journal every morning, every evening, and I would never consider myself to do that. But it helps me so much. It's like if you were to solve a really complicated maths equation, you don't do it in your head, you write it down. You solve it on paper. So like using other tools beyond just having the thoughts in your head are really, really useful.
And I always say to people, if people struggle with connecting, is maybe start on a device. But I always say, like, long term, if you can put pen to paper, it just does something else for your whole for your physiology. It changes the way you connect to yourself. Yes, we have devices, but I always try and say, like, slowly wean off writing on devices, and
it makes, like, there are so many studies that I came across when I was doing my research that just showed the difference between writing on your phone and writing from pen to paper. It's transformative.
It is. And then of course I work with mindfulness and doing NLP and different modalities and things, so alhamdulillah. But my journey was very backwards as well. So mashallah. So I always say to people, look, try find what works for you. I'm really interested to see. I'm hoping we're going to have some great artists in terms of drama and stage work and stuff. Mashallah, Leicester is in need of that. Instead of having artists who come from out of Leicester, like we have our own homegrown.
Can I just add to that as well, actually, and say that if there are people that want to explore creativity, that they may not identify as an actor or as an artist or even as a creative, but they'd like to explore it, or if they are an actor, an artist, a singer songwriter, then we're definitely going to be doing more things. So how will they get in touch? Just give them your socials. So my Instagram is, and the same as TikTok, is Become Mindset. So they can just drop me a message on there. There's lots of really cool people that we're working with at the moment, just getting some things off the ground. So lots and lots of exciting things to
Inshallah. Come. So even if somebody's got some ideas, they may want to collaborate. They can come to the Takhliq workshop on the 20th, and then they can meet many of us there. And then if you want to specifically have a particular field that you're interested in or a niche you want to grow, then have a look at who we've got within the Takhliq forum, and then you can get involved that way, inshallah. Okay, so Shazia, for you then, closing remarks, and in terms of what you'd like to see from the people of Leicester.
I definitely would like to see more creativity. I'd like to be one of those who can help facilitate that as well. And I'd like us to pioneer an Islamic art space, a dedicated Islamic art space in Leicester, which would be it would be amazing in the sense that we could engage with the art at a grassroots level, and then we could start training and start allowing younger children, the younger generations, to engage and to learn these heritage art forms that are part of our backgrounds and part of our heritage.
Yes, absolutely. And then we don't. it's not about having to go to other country, which is beautiful,
No.
of course, when we can, but we're not all in a position to be able to travel and take children, for example, or we're all in our own circumstances. So the fact that we have it here and we want to grow it
and to make it a norm,
Yeah.
to make it a norm, to make it something that is just part of your daily your daily routine.
Yeah.
I mean, just to have that creative outlet.
Yeah.
The same way that children have clubs, football clubs, martial arts clubs, all sorts of other different clubs. We need an Islamic art club.
Absolutely.
For children who are really, really interested in that, so we can grow this new generation, get them to train and to engage with this art and to create more beautiful art inspired by Islamic art.
Exactly. And I think it's really important for us to understand that all the work that we're doing in the Islamic framework, when nobody's perfect, we're all on a journey, and we've got to understand that ultimately we're all getting back to our natural fitrah, to know Allah, and that's what it's about. It's all within our tradition, so we don't have really limitations in terms of what we're able to do, and everything we do, we all check with our own teachers and things to know whether it's, according to Sharia, etc. So we have a couple of seconds left, so I just want to say Jazakallah khair to everybody to joining us on Ramadan FM on 87.7, and inshallah have a blessed Ramadan. Thank you to my amazing guests, mashallah, Sister Zainab and Sister Shazia.